Good evening or good morning. It's Mark. This is our third week of updates. It has been exactly 3 weeks since our school closure, and we've got some good updates on Chromebooks, some awesome stuff on home internet access, some tech support, and a big section on Zoom safety and privacy. So jumping right into Chromebook updates. We heard some feedback from schools, from tech support folks, as well as principals, that the dashboard was a little bit too confusing or complicated to use. So it's a little cleaned up now. Jumping in here, and I'll move myself up. The data down here has been consolidated with a little bit more added here. So what you're going to see is the student number will still turn green if the student has. It will also turn green if the student does not need a Chromebook, so we know that's not a student that we need to reach out to again. Yellow is pending appointment. It will now show as orange if we tried to deliver a Chromebook to the student and we were unsuccessful for a number of reasons. And then red is if they are still in need of a Chromebook. Somebody has expressed an interest in a Chromebook for that student, but we have not been able to get one to the student yet. You'll now see the last name and the first initial. This has laptop field is a consolidated version of the previous dashboard, so it will show all of that information in one place. So it's a no if they don't have a laptop. It will show you the barcode number if a laptop has been given to that student. It will show you undeliverable. It will show you not needed. So hopefully that has laptop field as an easier way for you to understand exactly what's going on with each student. The requested is just a yes or a no. If you see that a student is shown as no, but you know that they do need one, you can click here to request the laptop. It's the same form as before, or the family can do that on their own, and that will change it from from a no to a yes. Within a few minutes. When that is a yes, the appointment password is back, and it will show you the password for students that need a Chromebook and have not received one yet. And that appointment password is what's used to log into the appointment scheduling system and schedule a delivery or a pickup. And then once something is delivered or scheduled, you'll see their pickup or delivery date as well as their time. So hopefully this is an easier dashboard to use. It keeps everything in one place, and it's definitely a lot simpler than before. So on that note, though, a lot of folks have asked, how can I help? And the biggest thing we need help right now is reaching our unreachable students. This particular situation has been challenging because a lot of students are not in their normal home. They are staying with family members. The contact information that we have may not be accurate. And so we've got a number of students that we still have a tough time reaching out to or getting in touch with. In the last 48 hours, we did a massive push to call every family that has asked for a laptop, but they haven't received one yet. So in a period of about 24 hours, we had about 50 people calling over 3,000 families. And we were very, very successful, and we immediately scheduled a delivery. So not only did we call 3,000 families in the last 48 hours, we were able to successfully deliver about 1,200 laptops on Saturday and Sunday. So our numbers from last week are significantly lower, and we're seeing just a very, very small percentage of students across the district that are still in need of a laptop. But the big group of those students are going to be the ones that we're just struggling to get in touch with, either phone, email, text messaging, and that is really where schools can help right now, is using the dashboard to schedule a delivery or a pickup of a Chromebook with students that you still have the ability to get in touch with through any means that you have. On that note, though, we are transitioning our deployment model, and we're moving from a delivery process where we delivered the majority of our laptops, and we're moving now to a pickup model. This is for two reasons. The first is we are now at a safe level where there's our Chromebook needs are low enough where we can safely start pickups and not have the fear of a large crowd of people coming at the same time. So those pickups started on Friday, and they'll be ramping up over this week to hopefully be able to have more families come and pick up Chromebooks. The second reason for that is we also have families that did not want somebody coming to their house. And we had a number of families who said, I really want a Chromebook, and I appreciate the delivery, but I don't feel comfortable having a stranger come to my house. So they would prefer a pickup model. And then the third reason is With the changes in the coronavirus situation, we need to ramp down the number of staff that we have in place for this Chromebook process. And with a delivery model, we need to have quite a large number of staff members and volunteers driving Chromebooks across town, whereas the pickup, we can really consolidate and trim down the number of staff members that we have in place. This is a very strong request that we have coming to us from the health industry or the health professionals who are saying, if you can have people stay home, please do so. And so moving from deliveries into pickups will also help us to be a lot safer with our staff. And the safer we are with our staff, the safer we are to our families. So we're moving from deliveries into pickups. And as you jump into the appointment system to help a family schedule, you'll see those pickups available to you. And then we're also ramping up and starting to do repairs. The one clarification I want to make is that if a student has a Chromebook that is not working, they are not going to get a brand new Chromebook. They are going to get an existing Chromebook that we have gotten from a school. This is for a couple of main reasons. The first is health and safety. We need to lower the number of repairs that we have. And so when we have a device that comes in, if we have to swap it out, we know that the old device has to sit on a shelf and cannot be touched until it naturally disinfects itself. And so reducing the number of new Chromebooks that come in and out reduces the number of repairs that we have to do and keeps our inventory under control. And then the second reason is we are starting to get a lot of folks who said, I got a Chromebook and it's working okay, but I would prefer a new one. And so this also helps us to prevent people from intentionally breaking their laptop or finding something that's wrong with their laptop so they can get a brand new one. So we are running towards the end of our new Chromebook supply, and so repairs will be done through existing Chromebooks that were retrieved from schools. So that's it for Chromebooks. Moving on to tech support. Thank you again for your help. We are launching a small family call center. We started this last week, and it's going to be ramping up tomorrow, April 6th. This will be a dedicated phone number for parents to call. It is separate from the staff help desk, and we are going to be assisting with all issues related to school closure. So it's not just a tech support call anymore. It is going to be a larger family call center. Now you notice I didn't put the phone number anywhere on this slide, and that is because we're really doing a soft launch this week as we ramp up our ability to support a number of different tech issues as well as other issues, but also build out our translation abilities. So that is going to be forthcoming, but we already have a small number of parents who are calling into this help center now, or this help desk now, and we've been able to help quite a few families last week. Internet options. So big news from Comcast. So previously you saw that I mentioned that Comcast had done or had shifted and had changed for loan forgiveness for loans or for debt forgiveness for debt that was over a year old. Today, they have not announced, but they have let us know that any family that has debt with Comcast prior to the coronavirus situation, I believe it was May 16th, they are forgiving that debt so that you can now sign back up with Comcast for Internet Essentials and get the free internet. This is only available through the phone. If you go on the website and you have previous debt with Comcast, the website will tell you that you're ineligible, but if BPS families call Comcast, they will, over the phone, accept you back into the program. So this is really big for us because we've been trying to get as many families onto broadband wireless as possible, and then it reduces the number of hotspots that families need to depend on, because as a hotspot is great for filling gaps, it is not the fastest and most sustainable way for students to still stay engaged. On the hotspot note, we have a very, very small number of 1 million project hotspots left. That is a grant for high schools only, so a lot of our high schools have been rolling out hotspots through that grant for the last, I think, 2 or 3 years. And so the 1 million project has run quite low on supply, and so we are also running low on supply for the 1 million project hotspots. But as those run out, we're also going to be getting the Verizon hotspots in very soon. I know I keep saying this every week. I'm still waiting for a firm date from Verizon on when these are going to be coming in. But the other good news is, as Comcast has relaxed their rules, we know that our need for hotspots has declined. And so we will be able to ramp up and give a lot more hotspots to the schools that have a higher amount of need. And using the Chromebook survey to identify who are those students that really need to get a hotspot as soon as possible. So I really don't have an estimated timeline for when they come, but as soon as they do, like I've said, I will tell you guys right away and make sure that you have the opportunity to pick those up for your students. Tips from working and teaching from home. Let's talk about Zoom safety. All right, so over the last week or two, Zoom has been at the headlines of a lot of negative articles. And so some of these articles are talking about how school districts are starting to ban Zoom. The biggest one in the last couple of days was New York City. I believe Chicago, a few other districts have. And so I've gotten the question, is Boston Public Schools going to ban Zoom? My answer to that is simple. We will not ban any tool unless we feel that it is unsafe or it is going to be used in an unsafe manner. And so Zoom has, and Google Hangouts have a number of built-in technical security features that we feel are very, very secure and safe. But it needs to be coupled with training and support. So Zoom, when the tool is used correctly, and it is set up correctly, and it is configured correctly, and the host is trained and they know how they're using it, it is a safe tool. In fact, I feel that Zoom is a safer tool than Google Hangouts, simply because the host has a lot more control over the participants. It has gotten a bad name because people who don't know how to use Zoom may not know all the security features available to them, and that's where you get situations like Zoom bombing. But going into some of the safety features that we have, by default in the district account, the Boston Public Schools district account, you are by default muted upon entry. You're put into a waiting room. The meeting is automatically ended when the host leaves, and we have disabled screen sharing for guests. Now, these rules were not actually, some of them weren't our choice. This is what Zoom said, all education accounts, we're going to turn these things off, or we're going to set these for you. There's an additional setting that we have. We have explored this, but we haven't turned it on, and that is to restrict single sign-on. Now, this is where we would go next. Before banning Zoom, we would look to enforcing single sign-on so that only authorized users, Boston Public School accounts, students and teachers, can join a Boston Public Schools Zoom meeting. That's obviously very restrictive because we have a lot of folks who want to have outside guests, or sometimes for our lower grade levels, you want to have a parent join in. So we haven't jumped to that setting yet, but that would be something that we explored before fully banning Zoom from the district. All of these settings are only enabled if you have enabled your Boston Public Schools Zoom account. So if you went to Zoom's website and you signed up for a free version, and you know it's free because you only get 40 minutes, you're not going to have the settings set correctly, and you have to do all this stuff manually. So I strongly encourage you to have teachers go to Clever, click the Zoom icon, and enable their Boston Public Schools account so that they have these security settings, but then make sure they go through training. Make sure they know how to use the tool. That is the only way that a tool can be used safely and effectively, is if the user knows how to use it correctly. I don't know the exact reasons why New York banned it, but I would imagine that they felt, at the district level, they felt that this is a tool that has some technical security, but they can't force everybody to go through training, or they can't guarantee that everybody will go through training. So in that case, it's not a safe tool. We have a very, very strong training program already, and I know that we've had over 400 teachers trained. And so on that note, I feel that right now Zoom is a safe tool for the Boston Public Schools. But as with everything during this whole situation, everything changes from day to day. And if anything does change with Zoom and safety and security, and we feel that it's not the right tool for the district, then we'll talk about this with the community first. So that's Zoom safety. Now let's talk about FERPA compliance. Now, on Friday, the Boston Teachers Union sent out a newsletter to all teachers saying that Zoom is not FERPA compliant and Google Classroom is. And I got a flood of emails, I got a flood of concerns from principals and from teachers saying, are we using a tool that is not compliant with FERPA? And then today you can see the Boston Teachers Union has sent out, or Sunday they sent out a correction to that one saying that Zoom is in compliance with FERPA. There's a bit of a misconception around here, around this though, and that is that neither one of them is correct. It's not in or out of compliance. That question is not relevant to Zoom or to other digital tools. So to kind of show you, to illustrate what this means, I want to show you a comparison. So let's talk about traffic laws. When you talk about when you see traffic laws and red lights and stop signs and everything like that, who is responsible for staying in compliance with traffic laws? Is it the car or is the driver? No, this is a no-brainer. We know that it's the driver's responsibility to stay in compliance with traffic laws. Cars have a set of rules that they need to follow in order to run on a road, right? You need to have working brake lights and headlights and windshield wipers. But those are the technical requirements of a car in order for it to be registered on a vehicle. But still, even if it is technically compliant with the rules, it's the driver's responsibility to follow the traffic laws. FERPA is more aligned to traffic laws than anything. FERPA is what governs how school officials must protect student records and privacy. So it's not Zoom's responsibility to abide by FERPA. It's the school official. It's the teacher, it's the principal, it's the district administrator. It's our responsibility to adhere to FERPA. And I want to illustrate this one in another way by going on Zoom's website. They have an article on Zoom and FERPA compliance. Now, you're going to be asking yourself, okay, is Zoom compliant with FERPA? And you'll notice in this article, it doesn't say yes or no, because it isn't a yes or no question. In fact, it even says, to what institutions does FERPA apply? FERPA applies to all academic institutions, not Zoom. In fact, Zoom cannot be held liable or responsible for a violation of FERPA because FERPA just doesn't apply to them. Zoom is a tool that is used by educational officials, and FERPA enforces, or FERPA is what tells us how to safeguard records when using Zoom or a pencil, or pencil and paper. Down below it does say how does Zoom help with FERPA compliance, and it kind of goes through some of the technical settings and configurations and lots of technical mumbo jumbo to make you think that you're in compliance with FERPA, but really it's how does it help with FERPA compliance, not how is it in compliant with FERPA. So that question of is Zoom compliant with FERPA, it's irrelevant. It's not a yes or a no. It's how are you using this tool in a manner that is compliant with FERPA. So I want to move from Zoom over to just all other online tools that teachers may be asking you to use or maybe coming to you to say, is this a safe tool? On FERPA's website, this is the U.S. Department of Education's website, they have a question around, I want to use online tool application as part of my course, however, I'm worried it's a violation of FERPA. What should I do? This article is very, very short. It just tells you to talk to your school administration, talk to your district administration, and find out, is this a service that I should be using? But FERPA doesn't say yes or no. There is no list of tools that you can and cannot use. It is all in the user that is using them. It is the teacher's responsibility to make sure that they are using the tools in a manner that is compliant with FERPA, in a safe, effective, and private way. So going back to the question at hand, is Zoom a safe tool? Is Google Hangouts a safe tool? Is Clever? Is Google Classroom or Class Dojo? Are all of these tools in compliant with Zoom? Only if you know how to use them effectively and you, as the person using the tool, are safeguarding student privacy. So that's my long-winded answer to the question around, is Zoom FERPA compliant? Is it a safe tool to use? Yes, it is a safe tool to use as long as you use it safely and effectively and you know how it works. So that's it on FERPA and Zoom. There are some updates coming to Google Hangouts. You'll start to see Google Hangouts starting to mimic some of the features that you see in Zoom. Like in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see the ability for a teacher to mute everybody in the classroom and to end the meeting for everybody. So we're also starting to see some new tools pop up with some of the lessons learned from Zoom. I'm going to attach the email to this video email. You'll see some Hangouts tips to keep yourself safe and secure. That was also included in the Boston Teachers Union newsletter today. And then we'll link to next week's training schedule, which has got some really good stuff around safety and security in Google Classroom. Again, if you go to bostonpublicschools.org and click on the coronavirus page, you'll see the training schedule. And don't forget, if you don't want to make it into a live training, you can always check out some of our archive sessions, or you can just go to Google and learn how to use Google, Zoom or Hangouts or Google Classroom or Clever from some random YouTube videos. So there's some really good content on YouTube. I definitely invite you to explore YouTube videos if you can attend one of our live or view one of our archive trainings. And then I'm going to also include some additional resources in the email. Some handouts that you can send to some of your colleagues in case you get questions. So that's it for the week. Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch. Bye-bye.